Alright, Assalamualaikum dan salam sejahtera. Hari ini kita akan discuss dulu, kelas kita sejam je. So kita akan discuss self transport. Kita akan discuss self transport. Dalam lecture dah discuss ke self transport? Dalam lecture?
Belum lagi.
Belum lagi ya. Okay. Alright. So tak apalah kalau macam tu kita discuss dululah. Kita akan discuss self transport and then saya ada bagi kerja kan dekat Google Classrooms. Cells are grouped into tissues. Okay, cells are grouped into tissues. So ada lagi 5 orang ke 4 orang yang tak submit lagi. Okay, tak apalah, mungkin dia tak ada line internet ke apa kan. Okay. Okay. So kalau saya nak discuss lah. Okay, saya nak discuss jawapan dengan latihan yang saya bagi tu, cells are grouped into tissue tu. Okay, saya nak discuss yang tu. Cells are grouped into tissue. So get ready with your worksheet. Okay, we're going to discuss the answer. Right, I'm going to share I'm going to take one sample. Okay, one sample of answers from your friend. Okay, from your classmate. And then we're going to discuss the answer together. So please get ready with your worksheet. Right. Wait, there's problem with kenapa dia terbalik? Okay. Kejap ada masalah sikit dengan ni. Okay, kita terus discuss tissue A tu apa? Tissue A.
Madam belum share screen.
Memang saya tak share screen lagi, ada masalah sikit. Ada masalah, dia macam tak boleh nak running dia punya apps Cammy ni. Tissue A apa?
Cardiac muscle.
Cardiac muscle, very good. Tissue B?
Skeletal muscle.
Skeletal muscle, very good. Tissue C?
Smooth muscle.
Okay, smooth muscle. Okay, tu adalah contoh soalan lah. Macam saya cakap masa saya terangkan pasal animal tissue, dia bagi gambar. Okay, dia bagi gambar and then dia identify. Okay, next question dia tanya, which type of muscle tissue is found at the wall of the heart and what is the structural characteristics of the tissue cells which allow impulse to spread rapidly across the heart. Okay, 2 markah. First dia tanya what type of muscle tissue. What type of muscle tissue?
Cardiac muscle.
Cardiac muscle.
Cardiac muscle. Ada tak jawapan lain? Ada tak jawapan lain? Selain
Tak
cardiac
ada.
muscle.
Tak ada.
Tak ada. Tak ada yang tulis tissue A ke? Tak ada yang tulis tissue A?
Ada.
Ada. Kalau siapa yang tulis tissue A, tu maksud saya ada tak tulis jawapan lain. Okay. Kalau ada tulis tissue A pun boleh diterima. Okay. Kalau siapa yang macam tak sure kan, tak sure dia jawab betul ke tak, okay, tulis tissue A. Boleh diterima. Alright, next, what is the structural characteristics of the tissue cell which allow impulse to spread rapidly? Apa dia?
It has intercalated disc.
Betul, it has intercalated disc. Okay, it has intercalated disc. Okay, it has intercalated disc. Okay, spelling kena betul, intercalated disc. Okay, saya tak boleh buka. Okay, next we move on to okay, sekejap boleh buka dah. Sekejap saya share screen Okay. Nampak? Okay. Next, kita pergi kepada seterusnya. Dia cakap, okay, kita tengok sampel jawapan kawan awak ni. Okay, untuk 2A1, okay, soalan tanya, permanent tissue are formed through differentiation of meristematic tissue. They can be divided into dermal tissue, ground tissue, and vascular tissue. Okay, identify tissue S. Okay, tissue S. Kawan awak bagi tahu parenchyma. Betul. Okay, parenchyma tissue. Tissue T adalah sclerenchyma. Betul. Okay, macam mana tahu ada, macam mana keyword, bukan keyword lah, structure yang dah tunjuk obviously dekat gambar tu, parenchyma tu ada intracellular spaces. Okay, untuk gaseous exchange. Kalau untuk sclerenchyma, dia ada lumen. Okay, sclerenchyma ada lumen. Bila mati, dia ada lumen. Okay, next, differentiate the structure of S and T, satu markah. Okay, if we look at this answer, tissue T have tissue T. Okay, ini adalah salah satu benda lah saya nak cakap. Soalan tanya, differentiate the structure S and T. Awak kena bagi tahu S dulu, baru cerita pasal T. Okay, kena bagi tahu pasal S dulu, baru cerita pasal T. Ikut soalan. Okay, kalau, tapi tak apalah, kita tengok je lah macam ni kan. Nampak macam mana? Tissue T have thick secondary cell wall. Tissue S don't have secondary cell wall. Salah. Okay, sorry. Dua kali pula. Tak tepat. Okay. Dia tak boleh cakap macam tu tau. Dia kena cakap, ada jawapan lain tak? Sebelum saya bagi jawapan. Ada tak jawapan lain berkaitan dengan cell wall?
Madam, kalau
Ya.
letak karakteristik,
Karakteristik macam mana?
structure S has isodiametric shape which structure of T is variable shape.
Variable shape.
Yes.
Tak boleh.
Okay,
Dia
madam.
tanya structure. Structure. Kalau untuk isodiametric tu betul dah. Untuk yang CT tu lain. Salah. Okay, so kita tak boleh bagi markah. Lagi ada tak jawapan lain? Ada tak?
Madam, kalau S dengan
Ya.
T tu kita letak nama terus tak apa kan? Yang
Boleh.
parenchyma.
Ya, apa jawapan awak?
Parenchyma consists of thin primary cell wall, meanwhile sclerenchyma consists of secondary cell wall.
Okay. Jawapan macam tu dia tak tepat. Okay, kena tambah sikit je. S has thin primary cell wall while T has thin primary cell wall and thick secondary cell wall. Okay, baru dua-dua tu ada kena, barulah betul. Okay, S tu ada thin primary cell wall. T ada thin primary cell wall and thick secondary cell wall. Sekarang dia punya subjek adalah cell wall. Okay, wall dia. So kena cakap pasal cell wall. Tak kisahlah primary ke secondary ke, dua-dua kena cakap. Okay, ada tak jawapan lain? Ada tak jawapan lain?
Kalau bagi tahu elongated cell tu boleh?
Elongated, tak boleh. Sebab dia satu markah, kita bagi yang penting dulu. Apa lagi?
Madam, kalau
Ya.
Okay.
kalau cakap pasal intercellular space,
Ya, intercellular airspace. Boleh. S ada intercellular airspace while T do not has intercellular airspace. Markah kedua. Ada tak jawapan lain? Ada lagi? Tak ada. Okay. Okay. Yang ketiga, okay, dalam skema, okay, yang pertama skema dia cakap cell wall. Kedua dia cakap pasal airspace. Yang ketiga dia cakap pasal living cell. S adalah living cells while T is dead during mature. Okay, itu adalah dia punya jawapan skema. Okay, markah yang ketiga. Right? So, for 2.4, okay, cell transport. Okay, lecture awak hari apa Khamis Jumaat Lecture awak
Jumaat.
Jumaat. Oh, esok lah. Okay, dalam lecture pun dia akan discuss semua benda ni. Tapi kita discuss dululah. Alright. So 2.4, set transport. This is the objective overview the various transport mechanism across the membrane. And then explain the various transport mechanism across the membrane. So this is the overview. Okay. As you can see in this overview, we have passive transport, which means the molecules move down the concentration gradient. Okay, we have three. We have simple diffusion, facilitated diffusion, and osmosis. Okay, the one that against concentration gradient is active transport. Okay, the one in our syllabus that we learn is sodium potassium pump. Okay, that is passive transport, and active transport is when we want to transport individual molecules. Okay, but for bulk transport, bulk kita nak transport dalam large quantity. Large quantity kita ada endocytosis. Okay, it has endocytosis and exocytosis. Endo masuk, exo keluar, exo exit. So it move up. Okay, endocytosis we have two. We have phagocytosis, which involves solid food particles or bacteria, and then we also have pinocytosis, which involve dissolved material and fluid. Okay, so we're going to take a look in this 1 hour or 45 minutes. We're going to learn everything. Alright, passive transport. Tiga, simple diffusion, facilitated diffusion, osmosis. What do you need to know in each type of transport is the definition. Okay, definition itu yang paling penting. Definition dia boleh jadi sampai 3 markah maksimum. Okay, 3 markah tak apalah, awak tinggal 1 point, 1 term dah dapat 2 markah at least. Bayangkan kalau ada 1 markah, awak tertinggal 1 term pun dia boleh jadi kosong. Okay, so first we going to take a look at definition of simple diffusion. Okay, simple diffusion, the definition is a movement of molecules down its concentration gradient. Okay, pergerakan molecules down its concentration gradient without using energy or ATP through a selectively permeable membrane until equilibrium is reached. Okay, so what are the characteristics of molecule that can pass through? Okay, can pass through small molecules, okay, non-charged, and also hydrophobic. Okay, why this molecule can pass through easily? Because they can slip between hydrophilic head and hydrophobic tail. Okay, dia boleh masuk senang je, boleh lalu senang je. Right? And what are the molecules that cannot pass through? Okay, characteristic of molecules that cannot pass through are ions or charged molecules, large molecules, polar and hydrophilic molecules. So, these things, okay, these molecules, if they want to pass through the plasma membrane, if they want to pass through the membrane, they will require transport protein. Okay, they will require transport protein. Okay, and type of transport that require transport protein is known as facilitated diffusion. Okay, facilitated diffusion, resapan pembantu. Okay, facilitated diffusion. Okay, facilitated diffusion is movement of charge. Okay, movement of charge, polar, hydrophobic molecules down its concentration gradient. Okay, movement of charge, polar, hydrophobic molecules down its concentration gradient through a selectively permeable membrane added by transport protein. Okay, that transport protein, it can be carrier or channel protein. Okay, if you notice in this definition, the molecules, okay, the molecules that describes in this definition is details. Dia tak macam simple diffusion tadi. Dia just cakap movement of molecules. For facilitated diffusion, it describes in details what type of molecules that can pass through. Okay, charged, polar, hydrophobic. Right? Okay. So how it moves by transport protein? So if involved carrier protein, it will bind. But it is involved channel protein, it will move. Okay, ni. Kalau channel protein dia akan lalu, it will move. But for carrier protein, it will bind. Okay, it will bind. Okay. Itu je ke? Oh, itu je. Alright. Osmosis. Okay, osmosis, the third passive transport definition is movement of water molecules. Okay, it is movement of water molecules from higher water potential region, okay, to lower water potential across a selectively permeable membrane until equilibrium is reached. Okay, movement of water molecules from higher water potential region to low water potential region. Okay, pergerakan air. Kalau osmosis ni adalah pergerakan air. Pergerakan air daripada water potential yang tinggi kepada water potential rendah. Mungkin dalam SPM awak belajar high concentration of water, high water concentration gradient macam tu. Tak nak. Okay, kita tak guna dah term SPM. Kita guna term metric. Okay, movement of water molecules from higher water potential region to lower water potential region across a selectively permeable membrane until equilibrium is reached. Higher water potential region ni adalah refer kepada pure water. Okay, kalau pure water, pure water, dia ada highest water potential. The highest water potential is 0 kilopascal. Okay, kilopascal is unit. 0. Okay, water potential ni kalau untuk air kosong kan, air kosong, dia punya water potential adalah kosong. Itu yang paling tinggi. Tak ada siapa-siapa yang boleh lebih daripada kosong. Okay, dia pure, kosong. Right? Okay, apa maksud water potential? Water potential refer to the tendency for water molecules to enter or leave the solution by osmosis. Okay, the term given, the tendency for water molecules enter or leave the solution by osmosis. So water potential is a measure of the free kinetic energy of water molecules. Okay. Water potential ni dia kira kinetic energy of water molecules. So kalau pure water ni, air yang pure, air masak, air kosong yang pure ni, dia punya kinetic energy dia akan bergerak dengan rapid. Okay, dengan rapid. Dia tak ada halangan. Okay, sebab apa? Sebab dia pure. Okay, dia tak ada solutes. Okay, that's why water potential dia adalah kosong yang paling tinggi. But if we put solutes, okay, okay, for example, in this beaker, we have pure water, which is 0, and then we put solutes. Okay, that solutes will mix the water, will mix the solution, will mix the water potential to become negative. Okay, dia punya water potential akan jadi negative. Why? Because when you put the solutes inside the pure water, it will reduce the concentration of water molecules. Concentration of water molecules tu akan berubah. Okay, akan berkurang. Sebab itulah dia akan jadi negatif. Okay, contoh katakanlah awak breakfast tadi. Okay, contoh saya breakfast, saya tak sempat breakfast pun. Minum Milo je. Okay, saya buat Milo. Okay, saya letak dalam mak. Okay, dalam mak, saya letak dulu air panas. Pure water. Okay, air kosong. Air panas. Okay, 0 kilopascal. Okay, 0. Dia punya water potential adalah 0 sebab pure. Then I put Milo. After that, I put Milo. Once I put Milo, the solutes, maybe it will become negative 10. Okay, negative 10 kilopascal. Okay, why? Because I already put the solutes and the concentration of water molecule is reduced. Okay, after I put Milo, I put sugar. Okay, another solutes. Then it will decrease again. It will become negative 20. If you add more solutes, lagi rendahlah dia punya water potential. Okay, dia akan jadi lagi rendah. Okay, lagi rendah. Okay, sebab apa? Sebab dia punya concentration of water molecules tu dah berkurang. Okay, so balik-balik kepada kita punya definition of osmosis, air akan bergerak. Okay, definition of osmosis, water molecules will move from higher water potential region to lower water potential region. So air akan bergerak daripada daripada sini, pure water, daripada high water potential region kepada low water potential region. Okay, for example kita tengok dalam gambar ni lah, kita ada A dengan B. A and B is two different beaker that is separated by selectively permeable membrane. Okay, after a few minutes, some of the water will move toward the beaker B. Why? Because water will move from higher water potential region to low water potential region. Boleh ke?
Boleh.
Alright. Okay. Boleh? Yang lain seorang je ke yang boleh ya?
Boleh.
Okay.
Boleh.
Alhamdulillah. Kalau ada apa-apa soalan tanya je, interrupt je. Okay. Ini adalah the components of water potential. Dia bagi tahu, dia cerita macam mana kita nak kira water potential. Ini adalah formula. Kalau soalan bagi, tak soalan bukan bagi pula, soalan tanya. Okay, kalau soalan tanya, calculate the water potential. 3 markah. 3 markah tu, kat mana yang dapat markah? First, if you write the formula. First mark is the formula. Second mark is the work, okay? Show your work, okay, the calculation. Third mark is the final answer with the unit. Kalau soalan tak bagi unit, tak payah letak unit. Tapi kalau soalan bagi unit, letak unit. Itu 3 markah maksimum dia boleh tanya. Water potential. Okay. So water potential equals to solid potential plus pressure potential. Tulis macam ni saja. Okay, formula dia. Water potential equals to solid potential plus pressure potential. Okay. What is solid potential? Solid potential always negative. Okay, because why always negative? Because it has solutes. Okay, because it has solute. Okay, the measurement about the change in water potential of system due to the presence of solute molecules. Okay, that is solute potential, and it is always negative. Setiap sel ataupun any solution ada solutes. Okay, ada solute molecule. Bila dia ada solute molecule, dia adalah solute potential. Okay, solute potential. Alright. Okay, itu adalah solute potential. Kalau untuk pressure potential, actually awak tak perlu tahu sangat pun, awak just tahu konsep water potential je. Just kita nak terangkan pressure potential ni apa. Okay. Yang penting tahu konsep water potential. Okay, kalau pressure potential refer to if a pressure is applied to pure water or to a solution inside partially permeable bag, water potential increase. Okay, if we put pressure on pure water, okay, applied to pure water or to a solution inside a partially permeable bag, water potential increase. For example, in plant cell. And kalau untuk pressure potential is always positive. Okay, kalau kita tengok dalam plant cell, okay, as water diffuse in plant cell, so for example, this is plant cell, water diffuse. Okay, water diffuses into a plant cell. Solutes in the cell site make solute potential become lower, will become negative. So what happen is, cell contents, the protoplast will be expand. Bila dia expand, plasma membrane akan press against the cell wall. Okay, the plasma membrane will press against the cell wall, causing a pressure. Cell wall ni balik, dia akan encounter balik. A cell wall will develop inward pressure to resist the influx of water. Okay, cell wall, dia akan develop inward pressure. Okay, tadi plasma membrane nak press against the cell wall. Cell wall ni tekan dia balik, okay, inward pressure known as pressure potential to resist the influx of water. Okay, itu adalah pressure potential. Kalau kita tengok soalan, okay, example of question, this question, plant cell A, okay, kita tengok, kita highlight plant cell A has solute potential negative 300 and pressure potential 200 kilopascal. Okay, then dia tanya, okay, line next to it is plant cell B. Okay, plant cell B ada solute potential negative 400 kilopascal. Pressure potential 100 kilopascal. Soalan tanya direction of net movement. Okay, kira dulu cell A berapa water potential for cell A and how many water potential for cell B. Then determine the direction of movement of water. Boleh? Kira kejap. Berapa cell A? Berapa set lagi? Berapa sel A?
-100.
Negatif 100.
Okay, negatif 100. Kalau sel B?
Negatif 300.
Negatif 300. Sel B negatif 300. So air akan bergerak dari mana ke mana?
Daripada B.
Air akan bergerak.
Daripada A ke B.
Yes.
A ke B.
A ke B. Kalau kita tengok value ni, negatif sel A negatif 100, sel B negatif 300. Yang mana paling dekat dengan zero? Okay, yang mana paling dekat dengan zero? Of course lah.
Negatif 100.
Yes, of course lah negatif 100 kan. So A akan bergerak kepada B. Air akan bergerak daripada A kepada B. Alright. So try buat yang ni untuk ketiga-tiga ni. Kira saya bagi masa 5 minit.
Madam,
Ya.
kena ada unit ke? Macam kilopascal tu.
Kena ada sebab dia dah bagi unit, kena tulis unit. Alright, try buat 5 minit. Kira cari water potential and then kita terus and determine the direction. Okay, 5 minit. 5 minit ke? 5 minit. Boleh kot 5 minit. 5 minit maksimum. Alright dah. Belum, baru seminit Sorry. Lama. Alright, sel A, sel B yang first. Air bergerak dari mana ke mana?
A ke B.
A to B.
A to B, okay good. C to D?
Dia tak bergerak.
Tak bergerak.
No,
Sama lah. Okay, sebab dia punya water potential sama, so dia sama level. Air gerak sampai dia dah reach equilibrium. Cell E, cell F?
F to
F to E. Okay, good. F to E. Alright, good. So you faham lah konsep, you boleh buat nanti soalan cell transport saya bagi dekat Google Classroom tu. Alright. Active transport. Okay, jom. Lepas ni ada kelas ke? Lepas ni ada kelas ke?
Ada.
Ada. Alright. Active transport definition, movement of ion or molecules. Okay, that is active transport definition, movement of ion or molecules across the plasma membrane against its concentration gradient. Okay, pergerakan ion or molecules across plasma membrane against its concentration gradient. Kalau tak nak cakap boleh off mic Saya tak nak lah dengar awak sedawa ke apa ke. Okay, thank you. Alright. Again, movement of ion or molecules across the plasma membrane against its concentration gradient. Okay. Example yang kita belajar adalah sodium potassium pump. Okay, sodium potassium pump. It is a carrier protein act as pump that cause a substance. Okay, kalau sodium potassium pump ni kita nak pump apa? Kita nak pump 3 sodium keluar. 3 sodium out, 2 potassium in. Okay, 3 out, 2 in. 3 out, 2 in. 3 sodium, 2 K plus in. Right? So why do we have sodium potassium pump? Okay, it is to maintain. Okay, it is to maintain low sodium and high potassium inside most animal cell. Kenapa kita nak maintain? Sebab kita punya axon ni untuk dia ada banyak gate. Okay, dia ada banyak gate, dia ada banyak pump, dia punya channel. Kita perlu maintain concentration of sodium and potassium tu. Okay, untuk maintain kita punya membrane potential. Okay, nanti SEM 2 nanti awak belajar. Alright, sodium potassium pump, how it works, okay. First, 3 sodium ions bind to carrier protein. Kita tak boleh letak attach sebab kita guna carrier protein. Bila carrier protein, kita letak dia sebagai bind. Okay, 3 sodium ion bind to the carrier protein. Bind saja, the binding will trigger phosphorylation by ATP. Okay, the binding will trigger phosphorylation by ATP. Maksudnya, bila dia dah bind, adenosine triphosphate ni, ATP yang ada 3 fosfat ni, dia akan bagi 1 fosfat kepada carrier protein. Okay, dia akan bagi 1 fosfat kepada carrier protein. So the binding trigger phosphorylation by ATP. So bila dia dah bagi fosfat 1, what happen is from carrier proteins looks like this, it will open like this. Okay, so the phosphorylation causes the protein to change its conformation shape. So from this one to become this one. Okay, so what happened? Once it's opened up like this, 3 sodium ion will expel. Okay, 3 sodium ion will expel out of the cell. Nak bawa keluar kan? So siapa yang masuk dalam? 2K plus bind to the carrier protein. Okay, 2K plus will bind to the carrier protein. So when 2K plus bind to the carrier protein, what happen is, okay, this binding will trigger dephosphorylation of protein. Bind saja carrier protein, fosfat tadi dia akan dibuang. Okay, dephosphorylation ni maksudnya buang fosfat, remove fosfat. Okay, so carrier protein tadi, it will remove phosphate, right? Okay, what happen is after phosphate has been removed by the process of dephosphorylation, the protein will back to original shape. Okay, will return to its original conformation and the K plus will release inside the cell. Okay, itulah sodium potassium pump. Okay, sodium potassium pump, it involves carrier protein. Right? Okay. For bulk transport, we have two. Bulk transport, it involves large quantities of materials. We have endocytosis and exocytosis. Okay, endo and exocytosis. Endo kita bawa keluar, kita bawa masuk ke dalam. Cell takes in substance. Okay, kita macam buka pintu bagi dia masuk. Okay, buka pintu bagi dia masuk. That is endocytosis. Okay, exocytosis kita buka pintu suruh dia keluar. That is exit. Okay, so for endocytosis and exocytosis, both of these require ATP. Dua-dua proses ni perlukan ATP. Okay, ATP lah, perlukan energy. Okay, kita tengok dulu apa itu endocytosis. Endocytosis involve, because it takes in substance, it involve vesicle formation. Okay, dia perlukan vesicle, dia akan form vesicle. For example, how vesicle is formed due to invagination of plasma membrane. Invagination of plasma membrane, and then the membrane will pinch off. Maksudnya macam ni lah. Okay, contoh tengok gambar ni. Plasma membrane will invaginate. Invaginate maksudnya dia akan menyelubungi benda tu. Contoh kalau ni kita tengok food ni, dia akan menyelubungi food tu. Bila dah food dia menyelubungi food tu, invaginates towards, okay, dia pergi kepada the food, okay, then it will pinch off. Once it pinch off, it will form vesicle. Okay, it will form vesicle. Same goes to this one. Okay, same goes to this. Basically, these are the same thing. Endocytosis, both of these are endocytosis. Okay, but for this one, this is phagocytosis. It involves solid food particles or bacteria. For pinocytosis, it involves dissolved materials. Okay, dissolved materials ataupun fluid. Okay, fluid. Kita tengok apa itu phagocytosis. Phagocytosis is also known as cell eating, cell makan. Cell makan. This is when cell engulf large solid particles by wrapping up the pseudopodium around the particle, forming a phagocytic vacuole. Bila dia dah form macam ni, akan ada dah lysosome. Okay, lysosome. Why do we need lysosome? Because it will hydrolyze and digest the particle. Okay, hydrolyze and digest particle. Unlike phagocytosis, pinocytosis do not involve lysosome. Okay, dia tak perlukan lysosome. Why pinocytosis do not involve lysosome? Because it's already ingest dissolved materials. Dia dah makan material yang dah dissolve. So kenapa nak kecilkan lagi? Tak perlu. Okay, tak perlu. So tak perlu lysosome. Example of phagocytosis is phagocytes. Okay, example type of like leukocyte will engulf foreign substances like bacteria by phagocytosis. And yang kedua adalah amoeba. Okay, movement of amoeba and then it will engulf the food particles. That is phagocytosis. For pinocytosis, example is reabsorption of amino acids by the proximal tubule in the nephron. Okay, for example, the kidney tubule. Alright, okay. Then ni yang last kali lah, exocytosis. Exocytosis is the vesicle or vacuole fused with the cell surface membrane and the contents are released outside the cell. Exo kita nak bawa keluar daripada dalam rumah, kita nak bawa keluar. Okay, yang ni lah. Contohnya kita nak bawa keluar enzim, hormon, neurotransmitter, itu semua benda nak dibawa keluar. Okay, nak pergi kepada sel lain, nak pergi kepada reseptor. Okay, so for example, we have this one, okay, we have this vesicle, it will move towards the plasma membrane and then it will fuse with the plasma membrane and then release its content outside the cell. Okay, that is exocytosis. Right. So this is overview of cell transport that we learned in 2.4. Okay, do you have any question? Do you have any question, guys? Soalan tak? Soalan tak? Dia
Ada.
tadi tak ada. Yang lain tak ada.
Sampai
Faham
sekarang
tak?
tak ada.
Sampai sekarang tak ada soalan. Okay, so maksudnya awak faham lah kot ya. Saya harap awak faham lah. Kalau tak faham, you can text me. Okay, boleh awak tanya lah. Awak tanya pada saya apa yang awak tak faham ataupun awak tak clear lah. Mungkin tak nampak sekarang ni. Nanti awak try buat soalan. Soalan saya dah assign dekat dekat Google Classroom. So try buat and then kalau tak faham boleh tanyalah. Okay. Alright. So, kalau tak ada soalan, saya ada soalan. Pernah buat tak Mentimeter?
Tak.
Okay, tak apa.
Macam mana tu madam?
Mak kita macam jawab soalan ni macam, yelah ni macam quiz, bukan quizzes pun. Dia macam exit ticket. Lepas kita habis discuss, ada soalan last sekali. Nak tengok awak faham ke tak. So, sekejap Okay. Pergi kepada menti.com, www.menti.com. Okay, use the code 25656088 or you can just scan the QR code. Satu soalan je saya tanya, senang je. Okay, sebab tak ada banyak masa kan. Lepas ni awak nak get ready untuk next class. Saya tak naklah bagilah masa 5 minit untuk awak pergi toilet atau minum kejap. Okay, so saya tanya satu soalan je. Okay, dah masuk. Baru seorang. Dua baru. Belum apa. Okay. Alright, which of the following statements about the sodium potassium pump is true? Okay, ada 3 options, so you can vote which one is the answer. Okay, which of the following statements about the sodium potassium pump is true? Okay, wow, 4 orang telah memilih jawapan yang kedua. Okay. (16 orang telah memilih. Okay, baru 17 orang lagi lain. Dah ke? 19. Okay.
Cikgu.
Alright. Oh, ada lagi kejap. Okay, bagi 20. Okay, dah. Please enter to show correct. Okay, so ini ini adalah jawapan yang betul lah. Okay, yang ni adalah jawapan yang betul. Transport 3 sodium ions out of the cell in exchange for 2 potassium ion. Oh, okay. Ada yang dah jawab, ada yang jawab 2 juga ini. Okay, sodium potassium pump 3 bawa keluar, 2 bawa masuk. 3 sodium keluar, 2 potassium in. Alright. So, I hope you can understand what we have been discussed until now. Alright. And then, for next week, we're going to discuss, first you need to do, okay, you need to do your worksheet that I give you in Google Classroom, cell transport. And then for next week on Tuesday, okay, on Tuesday we're going to we're going to discuss cell cycle. Right? Boleh ke?
Boleh.
Okay, thank you.